Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello! Yeah, hello, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my god. Man.
The internet's still not working.
What? It's still not up?
Nope.
Is that a sombrero that's in the way? What is that? It looks like the top of a sombrero.
Hello!
That's better.
Leatherhead Nation.
That's a good that's a good tone for you.
Podcast where I'm on my phone because I want to choke the living shit out of my cleaning lady. And we're back. It's the only podcast that brings. I was choking this in the interim. I was like, this mother.
God, he's going with the cleaning lady caused that problem.
Yeah. I almost said the same thing, but I didn't.
I mean, what you want to, you feel bad for.
How is it my fault? That's what I want to know.
It's gone. Don't worry. They're blaming me anyway. Gabe, thanks.
Good. I can't see the chat, so
that's all right. Yeah.
What did Gabe say that penis before? The level of pissiness.
Oh yeah. Let me go find it. Here we go. He has 51% of control of the shit can. Give me a second because they were lighting us up. So let me go back.
Hey, Don, welcome back. Anyway, buddy, we missed you.
Yeah, I miss being gone.
How was the trip?
Trip was great. Just here it is. The level of pissiness Lou is about to display is going to be historic, just so you know.
Nice.
I can't get to it anymore. I'm worn down.
Yeah, he's wearing you out.
That's it. I'm worn down to the nub.
You had enough of me from last week, is what you're saying?
Where'd you go? To Italy?
I went to Italy. I have a couple little pics for you. I was here at the Trevi Fountain to share with some of my bums.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You got the guy next to you. What? Yeah. Strong.
Yeah. Come on, you got to do that with people laying on the ground. And we're doing all kinds of crazy shit. But,
what?
I got to get...
You your lady?
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's
nice.
Did you go up the Leaning Tower? Or did they do that?
No. We didn't go in there. I got this picture of the Pichadil right there.
It's a Pichadil.
You can see the shirt that's going on. I'm supporting Salty out there everywhere I went.
Oh, nice.
Look at you. We'll have to get you a couple of new ones.
And then we did disco night on the cruise. So we had a little...
little daddy
nice. It looks like Jamaican night. I don't know what that is.
All right, so it's not 70s. But anyway, so that was it. But it was
How was the cruise? It's nice.
Yeah, the water was right. We had a couple of days of rockiness, but it was soothing rockiness. So it was nice and slow back and forth. It wasn't...
Did you wear a Speedo while you were there?
I did. There's a picture of me with my some new lady I found.
Oh, you work out. It's such a nice body. So nice.
Yeah, I work out. I'm a 60-year-old stud. But anyway, yeah,
nice.
It was a nice time away.
Well, me and Louie were at Harrisburg. Met a lot of guys. Had a good time. Trying to get this fucking thing to work.
We met Gabe and his brother.
We went out to dinner with Gabe. He bought me a bottle of Tito's. He bought Louis some kind of crinkled up, looked like book. It looked like it was about 1,000 years old. I don't know what you did with it, but Louis knew what to do with it. Something about hunting. And we learned a lot about our man Gabe. I didn't know he was a Marine.
Oh, he was around the whole time, right? When he started.
Then he met another Marine.
Started doing a little of this with.
He was talking to another Marine, and then all of a sudden they were talking a different language. I don't know what the fuck they were saying.
Yeah, there was a lot of there was a lot of Marines on the boat too. It's a lot of retired guys.
Yeah,
people. He didn't have a drink with us, but when the Marine said, "Hey, listen, you want to have a shot for the brothers?"
I got to do what the dog says.
Hoorah.
Is he double fisting it, or is he cupping?
Hoorah. I think he was cupping.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then the Rangers won.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on, man.
Dude, thank God the Rangers won because
nobody cares about hockey, and that includes everyone.
Oh, we have to care right now. We need to find a song that we care until they get to the end.
Right.
Coops care.
But it was good. Let's see, a couple other shout outs. My man Vince from Armatoff took us out to dinner. Man, we didn't even see him give his card. He snuck it out there like a man, like gave it to the waitress. And he picked up the dinner for us, and Jamie and Bill from One Source. We went out with them. It's a nice time. And then me and Louie went right to bed. That was it.
Hey, you're going to Allison for the Sausage Fest?
No. Yeah. Well, we'll meet you over there. Look for me.
Yeah, going to the cookout, are you?
I'll be the guy in my pajamas, sleeping. Keep an eye out for me.
Yeah, very nice.
Punch this thing. And also, dude, you know what really impressed me? I don't know if my boy's in the chat there because I can't see him.
Who's this?
It was Ash and Lee Shapiro from Capital City. Man, the helmets, bro. They have got some amazing thing going on over there. They anybody who buys a helmet with the ratchet, who hates the ratchet, they bring it to their booth. They take out the ratchet. They put this new insert in, dude. It's like a baseball cap.
Oh,
Yeah, they swap it out. They're doing pretty well.
They swap it out. They were banging shit like it was nobody's business.
Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, how you doing? Get there.
Let me turn this off.
Let me get rid of that guy.
Nobody cares about how.
Oh my God.
Oh, good. The camera's
So,
coming
dude, so
back.
Capital, they really impressed the shit. I mean, they're going to be advertising on the show. I'm not just saying that because they're advertising, but right roof, they had some setup. They must have had, they had a busier booth than us, I think.
We have a line that looks like you're giving out ice in the Sahara Desert. Theirs was like triple that.
Yeah.
Oh.
The guys bringing up their lids, and these guys were banging them out. And
What were they telling them for turnaround time? It'll be about 3 years before I get these.
Guys were piling. They had piles.
And they were giving it to them right there. They were doing it right there.
Oh, shit.
They were doing it there, but they did have like piles of helmets. The guys would drop it off, and then they would come back later, I guess, you know.
So, dude, if you want your lid, if you got that silly little ratchet in there, and you want to put in a nice insert so it doesn't fall off your head like they used to do.
I was telling them I like the ratchet, but I guess the guys don't want that anymore.
That's the plastic ones. That's all you have now. The
right.
ratchet on there. So
right. And what else did I have to point out? Oh,
you had to point out this picture you sent me is what you want to point out.
Look at this. So I don't pull it up yet. So I tell Louis all the time. One day when we're driving across the country in all this flat land, we're gonna see a fucking tornado, right? So me and Louis drive separately because he lives upstate. I live in the city. So all of a sudden it starts hailing. Oh no, I don't want to renew. It starts hailing and then it starts raining like a motherfucker. And I look to my left and I'm like, that looks like a
I wonder, is that a funnel cloud starting?
That looks like and it started to turn and I'm like 90 miles an hour.
Did it really? Did you ever hear anything about it? Did it ever come back with anything?
Wow. I just ran the fuck out of there. Like if I had hair, it would be on fire. Yep.
We know it.
So yeah, that was my excitement on the way home. Oh, we saw Billy. I don't want to say his name on the thing. Willie Wolfgang. We saw that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he dropped in and Louis scared him, and then he came back again. I don't know what happened.
Oh, what was that when he was like touching all the shirts in the back?
I don't know what he was doing, but
yeah, Belinsky.
You got to turn my volume up. This saying, Gons.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look at you.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Give me a count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. See if that's better. I brought you right back up where you were before, so that should be good.
Yeah. So we met Gabe Fox's brother, who knew he had a brother.
38 kids.
He's got like 38 fucking kids. I don't know. He's got like 8 kids or 7 kids. He's got like a whole bunch of kids. Luthery out. Luthery out.
He was making sales.
I was like this. Don't touch his shirts.
Yeah.
I just can't leave.
How many what size you need? He was in there like he was in.
I'm giving him hugs. Roofy's throwing him out of the booth. I don't know what happened. We had a good time. We met a lot of guys.
Yeah, for sure. It sounded like it was a good time.
Yeah. Not as good a time as you in Italy, but you know what?
Yeah.
Mike did a great job while you were gone. He did.
Yeah, I was trying to tune in a couple of times. I was able to watch for a few minutes while I had some internet in certain areas, so I tried to check in.
Why don't you do a segment? Stop by the Italian fucking fire department, bro.
You know what? I didn't really see one. We were in Rome for 2 days, and I swear that makes New York City during Times Square look like child's play.
Your wife said no fire shit while we're on the strip. All right, that's the real reason why.
Not at all.
All right, let's get to our commercials because we got to get our guest in here.
All right, let's get to Armor Tough. Here we go.
ArmorTough Firehouse flooring was recently installed in Station Number 7, the newest of the DeKalb County fire stations in Decatur, Georgia. Meeting Deputy Chief Smith of Support Services, Vince explained that ArmorTough interlocking flooring is the only floor that is tough enough to withstand the abuse of fire apparatus, along with fire personnel at a very busy station. Chief Smith explained, "The flooring in all of our stations over the years gave us multiple problems. We need a floor that can last as long as the walls and the roof. That's why we chose ArmorTough. The installation team came from New Jersey, and in 3 days, they had completed their work without any disruption to our daily operations. We were very impressed with not only the product, but with the workmanship as well. I highly recommend ArmorTough for your station's floor." Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Yeah.
And we got one more, so we can get on the guy in here. The guy with
The Firewire app is the go-to resource for all news and incidents in the fire and emergency services. The mobile app is here and available for download. This long-awaited update addresses a handful of concerns in regard to intermittent crashes, jurisdiction areas, map settings, notifications, and more. This iteration displays our newly designed user interface with the focus on expansion, as we want to cover your neighborhood, city, and county. Our goal is to provide our users with the most accurate and on-time information regarding emergency incidents, news, and knowledge on all things fire and emergency services. Our newest addition, in partnership with the Gettin Salty experience, brings you Salty Wire, where you can view never-before-seen premium content from Lou and Coobs and exclusive segments in various categories. Subscribe today on saltywire.com.
Sorry about that, Coop. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Did Mike send you the rescue trailer, or you didn't put it up yet? We can do it on Thursday.
No, he didn't put that up yet. The only thing we have is the Halligan trailer, but you haven't played that in a while.
All right, I know he sent it in the in our chat, so let's just move right along. Let's get our guest in here, the guy with the big cojones. You know what you got to talk about, Ruff?
Yeah,
we got that picture.
Oh, yes, we do.
We saw him at Indy.
Yes, we.
We had to help him get out of the booth.
You had to carry him out. There you go.
Did he carry his balls out?
Oh man, I was so.
He wasn't touching the shirts either, by the way, Belinsky.
Yeah.
Wow!
Wow!
All right, you ready?
A lot of hate for Belinsky. What's up with that? I love
ready,
the Belinsky man.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, coming to the stage from Louisville Metro FD, Firefighter BRYCE CARDEN.
Woo! Welcome. There he is. Right, sorry for the technical difficulties, bro.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So let's get patriotic before we dive into Bryce's career here, bro. And
here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So usually we get on guys that got numerous decades in the fire service, right? But you know what, Ruffy? You can learn from a young guy too. If you're open to it. A young buck like this, a young guy determined to get into the rescue once they form it anyway, right, bro? Guys would. Matter of fact, I think we had some training videos, right, guys, from Louisville?
Oh yeah, let me just give me 1 second.
This is how Bryce actually learned to do what
look at his face. He already knows it's coming.
What?
I got a feeling.
Let's do this one. Ready?
Here
we go. That one. In case you guys don't see that, those are balls.
That's the first training evolution they do, and then the other one, bro, with the dog. This one's a little harsh. Be careful; it gets a little scary.
Okay, here let me pull up the next one. Give me one.
South Park.
Oh, and then they got this one.
That's it.
I wish I could make that bigger.
Who is that? Is that your lieutenant next to you?
Yeah.
Who is that teaching you?
I wish I could make that bigger.
That's Cap right there.
That's the guy who tied him off.
Yeah. Don't worry, Bryce. I got you.
That's pretty good. That's a way to
You got
come
life
in.
insurance, Bryce?
I do. My wife took out the max life insurance on me. For
Oh
sure.
man, be careful. The guy who was tying you off, he wasn't your wife's liaison. Well, there he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's the final evolution before he went into the rescue over there.
That's what it took.
One thing I've learned after all this is that firemen are pretty good at making memes. That's for sure. I went back to the firehouse with a lot of memes.
Gonzo knows about that.
Whoa. Right. All right, so listen, you don't have a lot of time on, but like I said, we like to get these guys on, man, who are young and
full of piss and vinegar.
Right? Not like us old farts, right? So let's find out, like we always do, even though you were born probably when I was married for the third time. But let's go back and talk about the early life in Bryce's career here. Where'd you grow up? What made you want to be a fireman? All that good stuff.
Yes, sir. So I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, in south end of Louisville. So I grew up sports family. So my dad ran a ballpark down in the south end of Louisville. So got in touch with a lot of people young, just playing sports, and met a lot of good people through that. But I always had like any kid, you're obsessed with fire trucks and police cars and everything else. And I always had that urge to do something like that. So growing up playing ball and everything, it just kind of transitioned me right into the life of the fire department with the team aspect of it. So it helped me a lot along the way. And
what sport did you excel at?
I played baseball. I played baseball, football, basketball all the way up my whole life. So super busy. And then I actually played college baseball at the University of Pikeville, where I got a criminal justice degree, believe it or not.
Man.
Yeah. I was going to say, you didn't play hockey? No hockey in your future?
You know why that is.
The only sport he didn't play.
Nobody cares about hockey.
Brothers or sisters?
What'd you say? Yes, sir. I got a sister that actually lives in Minnesota. She's 3 years older than me.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. I know. That's
Minnesota.
She's been a little bit everywhere, but she's her husband is getting his doctorate, so he's traveling around studying.
Doctor. Excuse me.
Yeah,
excuse me.
Pretty smart guy. So following him around everywhere and traveling.
He ain't
around
hanging from no bridges, though. That's
right. That's right.
You ain't kidding. Rough.
Went right to the top, baby. Right.
Like I said before, you don't have to have a lot of time to be courageous. What is that saying that we saw on the back of that guy's calf that we're going to make a shirt?
Oh, I have it. Hold on, let me think.
Now, if this does not exemplify a firefighter, I say it all the time, we're the true superheroes, right?
Yeah, he said it, and both Coobs and I, we like immediately looked at each other. I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's a freaking great saying. Yeah, that's a good shirt.
Where's my super suit?
Where the heck did I do with that thing?
Well, while he's looking for that, you have a bat collection from Louisville? Any other?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of them. As you can see, I'm out in the garage, which is now my man cave. My wife gave me that, so I'm loaded out in here. I got baseball bats and about everything you can think to.
How long are you married now, kiddo?
I've been married 4 years.
All right, no kids.
I do. I have a daughter. I have a 20-month-old daughter, Oakland.
Oh, look at you, handsome family there.
Yeah. I'm lucky, man, for sure.
Rookie say it. Thank God that kid looks like a mother.
That's right. That's right.
And again,
all right, I found it.
What is it?
Sometimes you have to believe that heroes do exist.
Dude, I just got goosebumps. Ooh,
yeah,
I just got goosebumps on that one.
Yeah, just get it like right there across your chest.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, that's what we said. This guy was a superhero on that day, no doubt, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So before we don't want to jump to that thing. Let's go. So you decide to be a fireman. How come not a cop? Or did you take both tests?
So it's funny that I fell in. My wife's grandma she kept the books at the fire department for 30 years. So she had a good career with the Louisville Fire Department, and she actually got my foot in the door with Louisville Metro arson investigation because I had to do an internship to be able to graduate college. So I was like, arson. I was like, I didn't really know anything about it, because I didn't grow up in a fire department family like a lot of my buddies did. So I'm like, I know what arson was, but I didn't really know what it would behold and what it would bring for me in the future. So I did my internship, and I just so happened that summer that it was, we had some major fires. We had a GE fire that was huge. We had Old Whiskey Row. I know we were talking about Woodford Reserve and Old Forester. So there was a major fire downtown Louisville, Old Whiskey Row, back in 2016. I was an intern during that, and then a couple big fires that I was able to go to, and one that I was able to respond with them as the box was rolling out. And so I'm standing in the front yard. It actually was a Mayday fire. It's a 3-story Victorian house. There's firefighters jumping from the first floor landing, and I'm standing there like, had never seen a fire, in person. I'm like, holy shit, this is what I want to do.
Does this happen all the time?
No.
You know what happened? He got the.
So if you look it's actually on the. It was on the cover of Fire Engineering during 2016. The picture was. So it was a hell of a fire, and everybody got out. The guys. But yeah, that's where my story started to grow for sure. So yeah, and I decided right there I was getting ready to. I was actually studying for the arson test, and LFD was opening applications, and I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I want to be a fireman. I was like, that's the route I want to go. And
what he said?
Oh, he was like, go for it. Oh my god! Yeah, he was like, go for it. So
yeah. Cool. What does Dad do? Did you say tell it?
So a little bit into my dad. So my dad was a pivotal person in my life, obviously as anybody's, but he was a huge role model in the community. Ran a ballpark, coached a lot of my buddies growing up. Guys still call me about him all the time, but he actually passed away 6 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
So when I was getting hired, and I went to him, he was in the hospital. He went in for a routine surgery. They went in, they operated on his gallbladder. Got septic and died 21 days later. So very unexpected, but it definitely molded me. It helped me grow into who I am today, and he did. But I went to him in the hospital, and I was like, hey, Dad, I want to be a fireman. And he was like, go for it. You can do it. And so that began my journey of training and getting it done. So I was able to fulfill that after telling him that I was going to do it. So that was a good thing.
Is that just a test, like a civil service test, or is it like?
So we have a pretty rigorous process. So it took me about 1.5 years to get hired. We have a written test that you have to go through, a civil service test, and then we have a very well known physical test throughout the city of Louisville and surrounding cities and states that know about how rigorous our test is, and then we go to a panel interview. And then we have to pass a polygraph, and then we have to pass another physical test to test your heart. So after that, then you go to 6 months of drill school, and we usually lose applicants during that drill school. So it's very well known.
You ring out. How many guys in a class?
Ding 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 ding.
We had 48 in our class.
How many guys are on the Louisville Fire Department?
We have around 500. 500 members, and we had for my class alone, we had about 1,800 applicants. So for 48 spots, so it's pretty tough. So very lucky.
Yeah,
very lucky.
What's your the square footage and how many firehouses do you guys cover?
So we have 23 firehouses, and we have 4 districts that we cover. So I'm in the first district, which is that's where you want to be. That's the West End. A lot of fires, a lot of shotguns, a lot of abandoned houses. Yeah, a lot of fires. So it's good. And then we also cover downtown. So we hit a lot of different building constructions. We have. To our left, we have downtown Louisville with all of our high-rise district. In front of us, we have all of our, brick 2-story room of contents fires. And then to our right out the door, we got all of our camelbacks and shotgun houses that are just on top of each other. 800 to 1,600 square foot houses that when one gets going, 2 or 3 get going. And right behind us, we got the Ohio River. So we most of the guys at my house, besides the younger guys than me, we're all master divers. That's a certification that we get. It takes about 1 year. And so we service the Ohio River. We actually just got a $1.2 million fireboat. So it's good. Yeah, that's a training day. We actually went to the Nolan Lake and did some training with the guys. So
the guy who was taking that picture say "make love to the camera."
Like, yeah.
He's like, give me the kiss me lips.
Yeah, look tough.
How many guys are on the job there? Do you know how many, Bryce?
You just said 500.
Oh, yeah, about 500. Yes, sir. We actually have a drill school class going through right now. So
all right, so you get on to you hired in Louisville after you graduated college, after you did your internship. You got hired with Louisville in 9/10/18, right?
Yes, sir.
And you went to 6 months of drill school.
Mm-hmm.
And then you graduated 3/5/19 and assigned to engine 19 as a probie. So it was a single engine. How was the first house? Slow?
It was a slower house. Yeah, I had a captain that was on the way out, soon to retire. Actually retired while I was on probation. But it was in the first district where I'm assigned, but it's our slowest house in the first district. But it was good. I came into a good crew that kind of brought me in, taught me the ropes a little bit, because I was more worried about cooking when I got in the fire department than making fires. Like I was ready to make some fires, but I did not know how to cook. So I got up with the guy's name was Big Howard. He had grown up and done a lot of different jobs in the food industry. So he taught me the ropes in that way, and just kind of let me ease into the fire department before I went down to headquarters where I ended up. So it was a good way to come in. Got to make a few fires, get my feet wet a little bit. So it was good.
How many guys ride on the rig there in an engine?
We were running a four guys on a rig when we were fully staffed, and then at that time we were kind of going through some cuts a little bit. We were running with 3 a little bit, but 4 guys is what we staff on our engines.
What about the ladder companies?
On the ladder, on my truck, we run 5 guys. The other ones operate with 4 guys. So we run with 5 just because we're a rescue company.
Right. All right. So tell us about your first fire. Do you remember your first fire that you went to?
Yeah, I did. So it took me.
Look how excited he looked right there.
You know, I remember it because all the guys out of my class, all the guys out of my class, you know, we're in a group chat. You know, they're all making fires, sending me pictures. You know how that is. So it took about 3 months to get it, which was surprising. So a good first in fire. So we roll out. They're calling for it was a rescue fire. Ended up not being any rescues, but we had 2 houses going, big 2-story and a 1-story. And I got up. I'm dragging a line in, hitting it, get up in the attic, and one of the captains, who he's retired now, but he was a very well-known captain. He said to me, get up in the attic and get lost. And I remember at that point, I'm like, yes, sir. So I climbed up the ladder. I get in the attic. I got the line with me. And I remember I just laid there for a minute, and I was like, I can't breathe. Like my adrenaline was pumping so hard. I was spitting, like I probably had foam coming outside of my mouth. Like I had white spit coming out. I had worked so hard to get to that point, and then it was time to put the fire out, and I was about ready to die. So yeah, I'll never forget that feeling. So it was good, but we got it done like we always do, and put them out. And
what they say to you after that? They give you a little props. Good job, kid.
Yeah, I got a attaboy, so it was good. Yeah, it was good. So just getting in there, because you don't know. First fire, you're like, I'm gonna get in there and be aggressive. Man. That's what I love about it, is that we're an aggressive fire department. So it's good.
I bet you it was like one of those backdraft moments. You know what Steven said to me right when the shit was coming hard? You're going to be good at this job or be great at it, right? No.
Have you checked that door for heat, Bryce?
No, probably not. I probably just went right in. No, brand new. I was just trying to get my gear on right.
Yeah. I found a random picture. I was just looking at a couple.
What's this? Oh, this is a Louisville?
It's a Louisville.
Is that how the houses are, Bryce? Like they're back off the street?
Yeah, that's a lot of the style houses that we got. So we'll run from, just 2 stories into ordinary construction, true brick. We have a lot of true brick down there by us. And so we have so much variety. That's what I love about where I'm at, is that we have so much, different variety of building construction. Yeah.
So that picture, we were talking about it in the pre-show. It just reminded me. I'm sure Coobs is going to bring it up. That picture had the badge on there. It says 1858.
You must be reading my mind tonight, Ruff. Holy mackerel!
Yes, sir.
So you're big into the history, right? Which is good, right? You want to know?
Yes.
You were saying that it was one of the first in the country, right?
Yeah. So in the late 1700s, we had volunteer companies running around the city. And then in 1858, we actually established as the 3rd oldest fire department when the city took control. And that gave us 23. It gave us 3 fire stations, 65 full-time guys, and 23 horses. And so I actually looked up. I was looking at the first horse's name was Baldy. It was in 1816. He pulled the Hope engine. So that's pretty cool.
Engine.
And there's water or something. What happened?
I don't know. I need to read more into that one. But the history of just Louisville Fire Department is pretty impressive. Like Squirt 17, which is now, they have a brand new hydro force on track, so they're not really Squirt anymore. But they they have still in the back. They have the stalls. They have the stalls in the
I was
back.
going to ask you, any of the original firehouses still up?
Yeah, they still have the stalls in the back, and just rich with history, man. It's very cool to be a part of that. So
give me one of those firehouse numbers. Let me see if I can find some images. Where's it?
Look up Louisville Fire and look up Engine 17. See if you can find that.
Okay,
that's a good one. Or Squirt 17.
Squirt 17 firehouse. Let me see if I can find it. You guys could continue on if I.
What's his name?
Baldy. Yeah, Baldy.
I don't know. I need my safe space. I'm getting a little upset with that one.
I don't think they had safe spaces.
No,
back then.
Oh, no. Yeah, your safe space was a kick in the ass. That's what your safe space was.
So that was before us, Coop, right?
What's that?
1865, right?
Yeah, that's like you said. I think you said the third oldest in the country or something like that.
Third oldest, yes, sir.
Who was first? Do you remember?
I need to look. On that before I speak. I don't want to miss.
That's all right. You don't want to speak. Yeah, that's cool. I hear what you're saying.
If I had to guess, I would think it'd be Boston.
I was going to say Plymouth or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, 19 when you went there, that was doubles as a hazmat company, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you have to be hazmat qualified when you went there?
Yes. So actually, in drill school, we get our hazmat tech, so that's good. So you come out of EMT and you come out with your hazmat. So that's I came out, and I actually jokingly one of the captains pulled me in the office. He was a captain on Truck 8, and he said, "Where do you want to go?" They ask you right one of the last days of drill school, and I said Truck 8 because that's the captain that I was talking to. I knew well. I was like Truck 8, and I was like, really anything but a hazmat. So I stand up on that day, and the colonel's reading them off to us, and he says, Bryce Carden, Engine 19, hazmat, and I'm like, damn, no man. But it ended up all working out good.
Do they have a hazmat piece and then a second piece?
Yeah, they run a hazmat van out of there. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, but it also what I was getting at in my first fire, Quinn, what I was talking about. Oh, there you go.
So yeah, it's the one of the good one I can find. Sorry,
that's
the overhang on that, Coop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of history for sure.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Now, how many companies are in there, Bryce?
They just run one out of there.
Out of the 3 bays, only one?
Yeah, and they actually just got a new apparatus, so that's good.
Let me see.
Wow. So they're running a Hydroforce now with the pump boss on it. It's pretty sweet.
Cool. You had that with the Hydroforce with the pump with the what the heck was he just say? The pump boss or something?
Oh yeah. So right now he's speaking Swahili to me. I don't even know what the hell he's saying.
Pump boss.
I gotta shout my buddy out right now, Zach Myman. He's assigned to that apparatus. I was golfing with him today. He's pumped up about me being on this show.
Big Zach.
Sure he's probably juiced right now over us talking about 17s.
17s.
Is he?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love it.
Big shout out to Zach. Big Zach.
Right. He'll like that.
All right. So after that, you decide you go to now. This is where it all gets good for you, right? Actually, the 19 was doing 2,700 runs a year.
Yes, about that. Mm-hmm.
Now, how much is that? Is medical?
Probably 94% of our runs are medical.
I was going to say 2694.
About like anybody. Yeah, about like anybody. Yeah.
And how do you roll out of the medical? You guys got to take an ambulance, or you take the rig?
No, we don't have an ambulance in the fire department. So we just basically show up, we assess the situation, give them what they need, and then the ambulance shows up and they take
throw them in the hose bed.
Yeah, we don't have to transport or anything like that. So
all right. Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good. But backtrack just a little bit. When I was at 19s, when I made my first fire, the guy Michael Quinn, who I said kind of like one of my mentors for the fire department, came in and taught me the ways for sure. And he was right there. Yeah, he told me, he said that he was going to be going down to Engine 2, which is Truck 1, Engine 2, Rescue 2, where I'm assigned now. And he said, I think you'll be a good fit down there. So he took a chance and brought me down, and it all worked out. He ended up being my captain on Engine 2 for about 2.5 years before he moved over to the hook and ladder, where he's at now. He's still assigned to Truck 1 on the hook and ladder.
So they do more work down there in Engine 2?
So engine 2 is a little bit busier than 19s for sure. We run last year we ran around 4,000 calls. So we got downtown, so we make a lot of high rise, we still make a ton of fires, so it's good, but we make a lot of med calls, a lot of elevator rescues, a lot of commercial alarms, that type of thing. So the run volume definitely has increased for sure.
Right. So how long are you in the engine before you get pulled over to the truck?
So I was on the engine for about 4 years. I had rode over on the truck a good amount, but definitely did my time with the engine, seeing the guys ahead of me, learn from them and trying to grow as a fireman before I get the opportunity to ride on the truck.
And you have to be, because the truck, now explain this to us, the truck acts as a rescue and a ladder.
Yes, sir. So actually both companies double as a rescue, because we don't have any designated rescue trucks, rescue companies that you ride on, that we staff. So we're truck 1, engine 2, but we double as that right there, rescue 2. Whenever a rescue run comes in, we hop on that van and go to work.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so we'll leave the truck and the engine in the bay, and then we'll act as rescue 2 when we make a run. So we're rescue 4, which is a truck that pulls the boat. So we have 2 apparatuses.
When you were in engine 2, then you had to start learning all the rescue, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as soon as I got go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just tell us what classes they put you through first.
Yeah. So when the first class that most guys get when they come down to headquarters is rope tech. So rope tech is the very first one. So, it's going through just learning the knots, learning how to set up mechanical advantages, how to set up high lines, just getting everything to be checked off as a rope tech. And then once you go from rope tech, then it's dive, and swift water and then dive. So the water stuff takes longer than the ropes for sure. The dive took us around about a year to get. So, because you have to get about 40 dives, and most of them have to be in the Ohio River. So that's a whole nother beast. So now, and then after that, I got confined space, and they're actually putting through a structural collapse class right now that I'm starting on June 3rd. So that'll be my next certification. So continue learning. We get the certs, but that's just scratching the surface. We continue to train at the firehouse and stay sharp on your skills, because as you know, it can come into play at any time.
Yeah. So. Did you ever tie the forgive it knot?
The forgive it? No, I never heard of that.
When you go to rope, when you go back, that's when you look at it and you go, "What the fuck is it?" That's one of those things.
I've had that.
Or the hope knot. I'm sure you did the hope knot.
I've had that a few times.
Tie hope and holds.
Yeah. I was going to say that
the tie a lot. Just tie a
lot.
Yeah. If you don't know tie a lot.
It's always a good thing in your career when you have somebody who, says, "Hey, listen, man, I think you'd be."
He believes in you, right?
Yeah, and put you on the path, right?
Yeah, he gave me that. He came from North Carolina. He was assigned to a heavy rescue company, and he went through a couple of different fire departments, moving here for family, and then fell in Louisville Fire Department. So he's been around the block. Good senior guy to look up to and teach me the way. So it was good to kind of trust in me to know that I'm going to get it done. So
it puts a little pressure on you too, because now if you're working where he's working, right? Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you got the door for a fire, it's in truck 1. If you have a technical rescue, both the engine and the truck go in the rescue rig, and they respond in the rescue rig. So how many guys is that then responding in the rescue rig?
So we'll have 5, because we'll roll every guy from the truck over to the rescue, and then we'll have 4 guys off the engine or gals off the engine into rescue 4.
Oh, so they'll take the boat.
Yes,
so everybody goes then.
Yeah,
I got that. Everybody goes.
Everybody go. Yeah. Where is that, Gons?
It's right here.
Everybody goes.
That's it.
Don't get tired of that.
How's the turnout over there, Bryce? You guys run to the rig? What's going on over there?
Oh yeah, everybody's running the rig for sure.
All right,
for sure. We're super fortunate that we have close. The firehouses are pretty close, so it's a race to the box for sure. So you make one wrong turn, or you're slow getting out of the bedroom, you're gonna lose a spot. You're probably gonna
objects in the mirror are now second due.
There you go.
Yeah. That sounds like a good shirt.
Yeah.
So are you wheeling yet, Bryce?
Am I what?
Are you wheeling yet? You driving yet, bro?
Oh yeah. I'm a firefighter, but we ride up as a sergeant a lot. So it's good to get experience that way. But yeah, I'm lucky that I get to tiller a lot, and I actually slide over and drive the engine. I've been lucky the last month or so to get some experience. I pumped on a 3-alarm fire and a 2-alarm fire, so got some experience over on the engine, even though I'm assigned on the truck. So it's good to they keep us working, keep us on our toes for sure.
Nothing like driving, right, Bryce? Nothing like
driving the tiller too.
I wanted to stab myself in the eye when I was at the panel when there was a second alarm going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm out there changing people's bottles and everything.
That was good how you did that though. Yeah, it was a lot of experience and everything was great. That was great.
I
was really glad to be there. And
yeah,
that was a good job. Good job.
You guys sound good.
Yeah, John, spot.
I actually have if you bear with me for a second, I actually have a photo of Bryce driving. I mean,
come on.
Yeah, man. Look at that thing.
Oh, no.
Luckily, nobody was hurt.
What happened there?
I don't know. It was his first time driving. I heard somebody sent me that. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just kidding.
I was only kidding.
I saw it kidding.
I've never seen that photo, so that's I've never seen that.
You'd be surprised what I can find if I get alone.
You pulled up ladder 2, Gons. Pull up ladder 1. I think he's in ladder 1.
Okay,
that was it. Yeah, that was truck 1.
Oh, was it?
That was one that was. Did I get lucky there? Just
that's why I was wondering how you got. I was like, God, he was quick.
I wasn't even looking at that. I was looking at the White Castle. I'm like figuring get a sack to go or something.
Yeah, buddy. Woo! Damn, son.
That'd have to be a big sack for him, bro. You know, he's got a very big sack. So he'd have to get a lot of burgers for that sack.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're driving the tiller over there, bro. You're wheeling the tiller.
Johnny,
yes, sir.
Kramer.
Yeah.
He's doing his Kramer.
I had that photo somewhere.
What one?
The Kramer one. It's gone somewhere. Oh, Bill
Fonzo's on his game tonight. Look at him. He's coming back all fresh and stuff.
Man, he's all ready to go.
He's all ready to go.
So,
all right. You pick up any good fires there before we start talking about the event, bro?
Oh yeah, we've been super fortunate to catch a lot of work. So far in 2021, we've had 21 working fires, house fires. So we've been rolling. We've been rolling pretty good. Yeah, we've been rolling pretty good. So, but yeah, we have the area to do it for sure. A lot of abandoned houses, you know, a lot of different building construction, but a lot of people too that we serve. So,
you're in the ghetto, is what you're saying?
Yes, a good spot to make fire for sure.
Is homeless by any chance you deal with?
Yes, a lot of homeless. Yeah, squatters. Yeah. A lot of squatters. It blows my mind sometimes how they get in these places when we go make a fire. So that's why we're a very aggressive department. You know, we act as everything's occupied, no matter what it looks like from the outside. Right. But we make entry on everything and we fight it from the inside. And that's one thing that I love about Louisville is that we are an aggressive fire department. So it's good.
How do you guys break it up on the ladder? What are your positions in the ladder?
So usually I'll be either riding inside or outside is what it is. So the inside guy is going to have the irons and the room ladder, and we're going to be going inside with the captain. The outside guy is going to be going to the roof with the sergeants. Usually he's already dressed before the sergeants, they're driving, so he can go ahead and hop out. That fifth man allows us to be able to go ahead and hop out and start throwing ladders, getting a size up of the building, grabbing saws, and then coming back and giving a quick rundown to the sergeants of what we need. And then that's whenever we go and we vent. So, and then you got, but whenever you have a 4-man, you don't have that outside guy. So, the 2 sergeants are going to be the ones the single sergeant's going to have to go to the roof. So,
how do you feel about cutting peaked roofs?
You just got to get the room. You got to get the roof ladder up there and get it done.
Oh,
wait, this is an attic job right here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at who's that?
There you go. A little snotty. Yeah, a little bit.
That was the one he laid down and threw some shit on him. Like, busy.
Yeah,
he's rolling around.
Did the roll
drop and roll.
Is that the guy outside with the camera? The buff is out there. I'm going.
A little accent shot. I had to look off on the distance before that one.
That was his boy Zach throwing all sorts of debris on him. Come on, Zach, rolling around.
Make me look dirty.
You got more pictures in there before we go?
I showed you that one. I have his the death shot, but we get the.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, well, this looks good.
That's the dead guy photo.
He just took it yesterday. Looks good.
Yeah, good thing we didn't have to use that price.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's take us through this day, bro. What was the exact date that this happened anyway?
So it was March 1st. And it was actually, we had been, like I was talking about, we had been on a street making a bunch of fires. So we had a couple of crazy busy days the day before. And so we came in that day and we were like, man, we're going to eat 2 meals out and we're just going to relax today. Just a good Friday at the firehouse. So, Fish Friday. So we were going to go to Fish Fry at night, grab some lunch out for the day. The engine had went to training at drill school. And so they were about 15, 20 blocks away. We were headed out. It was about 11:30 and we headed out. We're about 30 blocks away, grabbed some food, went to the store. You know, you go to the store, you do some shopping for the day, whatever you need. So we're at the store and we get the knockout for MVA on the bridge is what it came in as. And then we're getting updates. So we're rolling that way, you know, and Dublin as a rescue company, a truck and a rescue, we have to go back to quarters to get our rescue van.
Right.
So we're headed down and we're getting a size up from the first arriving companies. Actually, the truck that you showed earlier, the Tower 2, Engine 5 were the first ones to show up on scene. And they're giving a good size up, Captain Rogers, and assessing the situation because they had, not only did they have a semi truck over the bridge, they had a 3-car MVA so that they're dealing with, you know, extricating people and that type of thing. So we're getting updates. We hear that there's a semi truck over the bridge. And to us, you know, as firemen, we hear that. We're like, you know, it might be into the wall, you know, a little bit, the nose out. Right. So they start giving us the size up and we're like, okay, this is for real. You know, so we're actually blowing down Bank Street, headed back. And we're all trying to like lean up and look at the iPad for notes and that type of thing. We pull into quarters real quick. Back in, the engine's coming from drill school doing some training. So we're already kind of behind the 8 ball at that point. We hop in, we put 3 guys in the rescue van and 2 guys in the rescue 4 to head to the boats. So the sergeants actually went to the boats and set up for a full dive operation if things went south. So we hopped on the rescue van. There was 3 of us. And so everybody's like, how were you the guy? You know, like what decided you to be the guy? Because, you know, everybody, I probably got punched in the mouth that there was 5 guys back there and trying to decide who was going to go there. You know, everybody.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah. So we were like, how did you decide to be, you know, how'd they decide? So I was the only one in the back of the rescue van. So there was my senior firefighter who had 13 years on. He hopped in and drove the rescue. And then we had Michael Wren, who was the captain, who ended up making a lot of decisions on the rope run. He's in the front seat and he's hollering back to me, get a harness on. So we got about 10 blocks to get ready for this, get ready for this. So I'm falling down, trying to get my harness on, get ready, get my helmet on, get geared up. And about, no joke, as I'm clipping the last buckle, we're pulling up on the bridge and I hop out and everybody's, you know, typical scene. There's a lot of people already there, you know, chief staff and that type of thing. And they're screaming like, come on, let's go, let's go. And at that time, I kind of get my size up and I'm like, holy shit, you know, as anybody, I'm like, holy shit. So we come up and, you know, I see the bottom of the semi truck and I see Engine 5 Tower 2 working on the cars that were already in the wreck, you know, and I'm kind of slipping, being a sports guy.
What is that being held by, Bryce? Not to interrupt you. What is that?
Nothing.
Is the back of the truck
right here? The bridge itself. If you look at the top of the trailer here,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what's holding this whole load.
Yeah, so it's wedged in there now.
It's wedged in there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. About 9 inches of steel is what it was caught at the top. And then the bottom, you can see the concrete had failed on the bottom and caught that tank a little bit. But the concrete was already falling over. And so basically it just kind of wedged itself on that top. But she was actually fully loaded. She had only made 1 stop and all of her cargo was on the left side of the truck. Thank God. She had unloaded the right side of the truck. It was a refrigeration truck. She had unloaded the right side, but was still pretty much fully loaded on the left side. So I think that maybe that weight contributed for it to jam up like that is what I would guess. So yeah, it was a pretty wild size up for all of us coming up on that bridge and seeing that. So I'm coming up, they're all like, you know, let's go. And there's, you know, the captains are steering, you know, deciding what they're going to do. You know, Michael Wren was the captain that was kind of running the ropes. He's a big rope guru around here, teaches a ton of stuff. He's actually head of a county department. He's head of their training for ropes. So he's a big rope guy. So he's getting everything set up. I had a CMC victim harness is what I was doing. So I was already hooking that up because I knew that I was going to be using on her. I kind of peeked over and seen her looking up, at us. And I was like, we got to go, we got to go now. So I'm getting
so the captain did all the rigging. He rigged the whole thing.
No. So the captain was just calling out plays like the quarterback.
Okay.
So my senior guys and girls that were up there, they were rigging it up and they did a hell of a job. Yeah, that you can see. That's Captain Rogers who's grabbing me on the back, and that's Captain Michael Wren, who has his hands up in the air, telling him what he wants. So we had a lot.
This is not a normal.
No.
Right?
This is not a normal thing. And so he, Captain Wren, actually said to me, he said, "Hey man," he started to explain to me. He was like, "This is what we're doing." He said, "Are you good with it?" Like he was just wanting to run it by me because it's something that we don't, like you said, we don't hang off the tip of we don't use the aerial as a high point, and move it like this. That's not something that we do. It was figuring it out like what firemen do. We figure it out. So that's what we were presented with, and we got it done. So I looked at him. I said, "Hey Cap," I said, "I trust you." I remember it clear as day. I was like, "I trust you." I was like, "Let's do it." So I'm getting hooked up. I got the pickoff strap hanging from me with the CMC harness hanging off. And then that's whenever they just clip me in. I said to my senior fireman, Nick Haley, I said, "Hey man, do a safety check on me." He does a safety check and I'm like, "Let's go." And Sergeant Burrow, he was the sergeant that was on the hooking ladder and he couldn't even see me. So talking to him is pretty crazy. Him and Captain Rogers from Tower 2 were in such coordination. Because Burrow is on the pedestal all the way across the bridge on the other side, and he's controlling that aerial ladder with raising me up, and I'm tied off to it, and he's raising me up and sending me out. We're 100 feet up, and he's almost fully extended out over the water to get to this truck, and then moving me over. So he's going straight off of just locked into Captain Rogers, nothing else.
So you could not just have, let's say, you stuck the aerial just over the railing and left it there. You would not have been able to get, obviously now looking at the picture, you cannot get to the cab.
No, you couldn't, just because of that V of those beams. It was such a tight window that we had to work with, but also it was blocking us because there was a separation there. So in between those bars, there was another section of bridge, and they didn't want to put the hooking ladder any closer because of the chance of the bridge, causing the truck to shift. So you can see in the background there, all the guys working together, Major Verdi right there, and Captain Hogan, who had a huge part in making the calls with the black beanie on. And then some of my firefighters, Jimmy Nart, Beth Burkhead, Donahoe, and Nick Haley, my senior guys, my backup right there with the red helmet on, ready to go. But they're all working together. That we did just to get on the ropes a little bit. We ran 2 MPDs mirrored system. And we used the aerial as a high point change of direction. And then they sent me out because the only time, a lot of times whenever we train on using the aerial for ropes and is Stokes basket, you don't have a rescuer usually hooked up on the end of it. So this was a new ball game that we were entering, and we were able to, thank God, put it together and get it done while the world was watching. So it was good.
What was it like? Like what? So you're hooked up to. You're just going over for the first time. Like you're hooked up on rope, right? Are you like leaning or holding on to the railing, like the outside of the railing, and they lift you up, or they lift you up?
No. So I'm strapped. I'm hooked in. I got my butterflies to me, and they just picked me straight up and just sent me out. And
what was that like when you went over the railing?
I was just like, at that point, now looking back, it's a blur, but I was so focused. And I contribute so much of the success to training because, no joke, not even a month before that with Wren and my crew at headquarters, we did a pickoff scenario in the hose tower where we hang all the hose up. And I was the rescuer that went down, and I got one of my sergeants and brought him up. So we had just did pickoff with the same harness, the same everything. And then so whenever we got on the bridge, even though it's an accelerated situation and something that you couldn't make up, with a semi truck hanging over, it was just slowing the game down, just like going back to sports, slowing the game down. And all right, this is what I need to do. When I get to her, I need to throw it around her chest, hook it up and get it done. And
So
what did you say to her? Oh, go ahead.
Well, hold on. When you're moving out, are you giving them hand signals like where to stop and then start me to lower? Like, how did you know what was going on?
So we were in voice contact. But they were doing a hell of a job just coaching Burrow where I needed to go. But they did a good job of like stepping back, and like Captain Hogan and Verdi and our Major Verdi and Wren really took control and just coached him where they needed to go. And Captain Rogers were working together to get him. I mean, basically he dropped me. Looking back now, he dropped me right on where I needed to go because they didn't want me to put any pressure on the truck because you can see that thing is about ready to go. So I went to the window and I just straddled it. I put one leg on the mirror and one leg on the door. And then that's whenever you see I had to swing in at that point because I realized once I started putting the harness on her, she was tangled up in her seatbelt. So I had thank God I looked down. It's like slow motion looking back now, but I wasn't in my rescue pants. I was still in my normal duty pants. Usually I put my rescue pants on and I had my knife still in my pocket. So I was like, thank God.
Man.
Yeah. Thank God. So I was able to get the harness around her chest and her legs, and she was a military vet. So her staying calm was huge. So she was able to help me help her, and I was able to coach her.
Help you.
Yeah. I was able to coach her like, hey, throw this around your side, send it back to me. Hey, throw this around your leg, send it back to me. And then I was able to reach in there and grab that seatbelt and just cut it there and cut it at the waist. And then she got a death grip on my neck. I said, hold on, let me do one more final check because we're about to go over the river. So I do a quick check, chest, legs.
She's hooked into you, right?
I'm like, we're good. And and she grabbed me around the neck with about the strongest grip she could have, and I pulled her out. And so there we are. We were hanging in there.
When you were putting the harness on her, were you nervous, like with all the movement? Was there a lot of movement?
No.
Did you feel like
the only time that I had that got both of us, and she actually just broke her silence a couple days ago. She hadn't talked. She was having a hard time as anybody would, but she did a full interview about the whole rescue, and we both had a moment where it got us. She was so hard pressed on the air brake. She was holding on to the air brake and holding on the steering wheel, foot on the air brake and the gas at the same time because she's like this, face forward, So whenever I pulled her to me, she let pressure off that air brake and it went, So I'm like, holy shit. Here we're going.
Oops, sorry. I got that queued up when you're ready. This is the inside of the
So I actually just seen this the other day too, and it was pretty wild.
We saw this actually. I sent that to Gon.
Yeah, go ahead, play it, Gon.
Are you ready?
I mean, how that truck caught that thing.
Eject.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you were asking about the first thing that I said to her. So when I got to her, she was praying. She was like, praying to God. I was like, I got you. I said, here's what I need you to do. And then once I got her to me, then I was like, I knew that it was all trusting those guys on the top side, and it was trusting those guys on the bottom that were in the river, that if something went wrong, they were going to get us. And I had I would do it again tomorrow. I had no second guesses going over that edge with those guys that I had behind me or backing me up, and controlling the ropes because they were the ones doing the work for sure. But I asked her, I said, do you pray? And she said, yes. I said, well, let's pray. And so quick story for you, back in college, I'm a sophomore in college playing baseball. Life's good, no problems. And I go with my buddy, Tyler Williams, one of my best friends. I was like, he was like, hey buddy, let's go blow off some steam. He was from Belfry, Kentucky in the mountains. So I'm like, all right, man. So I get done with my final that morning, getting ready to go to winter break. So we go cruising. We're in a side-by-side. We're just chugging along, having a good old time. It's like 2:00 at this point, middle of December. and we actually got in a bad wreck. We flipped it about 3 times. He gets thrown out of the cab. I'm still in it when I wake up, and I'm, wake up looking around for him like anybody would. He was actually underneath the razor. So we were able, my buddy came up behind me. We were able to push the side-by-side off of him, and we sat there, and I'm like, hey, man, love you, because I was actually driving the razor, and I was like, I love you, man, like, I'm sorry. He's like, shut up, man. He's like, we're good. I love you too. He's like, let's just pray out loud. Let's just pray out loud. So we sat there and we just prayed, and he, he's bleeding from his mouth, everything. And we prayed together. And then that was the last time I saw him. So it all kind of came full circle for me with this wreck whenever that happened. And his parents are awesome people. They were super excited about like going on Kelly Clarkson and talking about him and everything, sharing his story about what happened and, how it all came full circle for me, with this wreck. We were able to, me and her together, she's in a moment where she was facing certain death, and we were able to pray out loud together. So being able to share that moment with her, it was big for me too. So
wow. And when you got her finally up on the bridge, what was it like then? Was she like?
It was a straight adrenaline dump, and she I've never seen anybody break down like that. Like she,
oh my God.
She just melted. Yeah, she melted and just started screaming, praying, and they got her on the gurney, and then she went one way. I'm, everybody's grabbing me the other way. I'm still kind of like hanging sideways. They're all unhooking me and telling me good job and stuff. And then my adrenaline comes down. I'm freezing my ass off because it was raining. It was like 28 degrees. I've been over the river, wind blowing, so I'm in like a dry fit t-shirt because like I said, we were behind the 8-ball. So I'm diving from the truck to the rescue, like didn't grab any of my shit. Like all I had was a harness and gloves and a helmet. So I wasn't prepared for the cold, that's for sure. But during the run, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I always used to say, like, whenever Kevin and I, Gonzo, we all did this, the high angle stuff. And, like it was always the letting go part for me. Mm-hmm. Like, right. When you're releasing you trust, right. You take a quick peek of everything, right. You trust the guys. Listen, I trust the guys. I trust me more. Right. So I want to double check, make sure, like the boss said to you, hey, listen, man, you want to take a quick peek, you got to check everything, double check my stuff, you have to have a lot of eyes, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It was always that first release. Yeah. Just that little bit of that weightless feeling, right? Until you get on the rope. Once you're on the rope,
you're in their hands.
It's easy peasy, right? I mean, it really is. I mean, we say in the FDNY, I don't know if you do in Louisville, the dope on the rope. Right. Yeah. So,
oh yeah.
But that it was funny that we were saying before, like how you guys picked who went over. Like for us, I don't know if it's the same in Louisville, but you get that position at the start of the tour, right? So you're the diver, you're diver one, you're entry one for hazmat, you're whatever entry for confined space. So there's no figuring out. Yeah, up to that.
That's what we usually. That's one thing I think that why we run so smooth on Louisville Fire Department, like you guys, is that we all have we know our roles and we all play them well. Like in the morning, like you said, we know we're the inside guy. He's usually diver one. But at that, it just crazy how it all worked out that we were so discombobulated with training and being at the store.
That's
and
how
everything.
It always
it always
Murphy's law.
Show up.
Yeah, so it always comes there.
What was your wife's first reaction? Did she see it on TV first? Or
no, that's a good story because my wife. Yeah, you can go ahead and cue up the squirrel tail because the guys at the firehouse will roast me on this one. But I texted her and I said, "Send my truck over the bridge. Here we go." And I'm on the hook and ladder, on the way to the run, and she's like any other wife. You don't text her. You don't text her for a while. She's checking your location. So we're driving back to the house. We drop the hook and ladder off. I leave my phone on the hook and ladder. I jump out and get on the rescue van, go to the scene. So she's checking my location and it says I'm at the firehouse. So she's watching this live stream at home, feeding my daughter and watching it, live and thinking that I'm at the firehouse, that I'm not on the run. So halfway through it, one of our family friends, who's actually a major, he just retired, Jonathan Jones, he texted her and said,
female.
Oops, sorry about that. This is what
he texts her and says, "Hey, that's Bryce on the rope." And she said she about dropped Oakland, like she almost passed out. Really? So then she's literally, I just got to the cab whenever she realized it was me. So yeah,
I mean, I'm just watching how that guy feathered that, like how slow you're moving the aerial.
Oh,
right?
they did. They did an incredible job and resetting. They had such a small area to reset those MPDs.
I was just say your whole field must have been tiny.
Yes, yeah, right there from that pole. That's why they were resetting them up top, and then in unison with Sergeant Burrow and Chad Rogers doing a hell of a job just coordinating.
I'm not sure what we would have done there.
Moving the aerial ladder.
You know what I wanted to ask you too? I noticed. Did you guys put like any grip hoist or anything to the back of the truck? Like
we did not. So that was a big discussion, but there was nothing at that point in time that was going to hold the weight of that truck. It would have drugged that hook and ladder in and probably hurt.
No, not to the rig. I mean, like to the other side of the bridge.
To the other side of the bridge or something.
Yeah. We talked about that too, but it was just so quick that we were like, we got to go. Right. So we were up on the bridge for a while after the run, and it was pretty impressive watching them try to hoist that semi truck back onto it. They had about 4 or 5 big crane trucks out there. It was pretty impressive. So the sheer weight and the size of that semi was overwhelming.
You know what I was going to say too was like when we met you at obviously we had all talked about it. Even on our show, we were making fun of you. We didn't know who you were. Yeah, but we were making fun that how did he get over the railing with those balls so big, right? And So when we ran into you, we talked and we were like, dude, we got to get you on the show. Yeah. I started looking more into it online, right? And I would say the thing that sticks out to me is what we talk about in the fire, in our fire department, in the FDNY, and in the fire service as a whole, right? Is to be humble, right? Like, yeah, you were the guy who went over, but in the end, you're nothing, without every one of those guys. And when you get swooped up into as a young guy into the limelight, could be very difficult to keep your eye on the prize and make sure that you're not not being humble. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
With every interview that I saw, I don't know if guys said anything or if it seems like just from knowing you as I do now that it's in your DNA. It was it was nice to see that you it was more of a we. And it was never an I,
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
There's no
who's up on the bridge by the time the whole thing was over? The Chiefs, the big wigs, the who?
Oh man, it was about everybody you could think. About everybody you could think. From the beginning too, because like I said, we were behind. So when I got out, there was a lot of chief staff. There was a lot of just people up there just taking videos, people who were in the accident. The police were trying to secure the scene, but there was a lot of people up there. There's people lined up on the bank. It was Friday at noon. So the whole world was watching. If that run happens in the middle of the night, who knows if it's, what it is. It may not have been as popular as now, but it was Friday at noon, rush hour traffic, and everybody was watching. So it was just crazy.
Hey, Bryce, there's another question in the firehouse. Go ahead, cool.
You finally get back to the firehouse, and what happens then? You guys out of service?
We were straight back to work. We had changeover right after we were on the bridge for about 2 hours after doing interviews and just like breaking everything down, packing up all the rope stuff, and we had to go change over to our auxiliary apparatus because or pick up our original apparatus. So right back to work. So we went and did that changeover, making runs. We made runs pretty much all night, and then about 10 o'clock. I was like, hey guys, we're going to sit down and we're going to enjoy this. No joke. We were like, they called and said, hey, CNN's on the line and we need you to do a live interview right now. I'm like, I skipped straight forward from doing, a couple local ones on the bridge to I'm at the firehouse with Chief in his office at 10 o'clock at night doing CNN. I'm like, this is crazy.
I saw Good Morning America too. You did Good Morning America?
We did. I mean, it was about 27 interviews and about
there was a lot of
it was crazy. So it was definitely a whirlwind for a few weeks, and it took me a week or so just to kind of decompress from all of it, and come down from
the high.
Even think about it. Yeah, the high. Like I was on such a high, and we got to go to I'd never been to New York And so I got to go to New York for the first time. So that was pretty surreal because I got, obviously FDNY. Everybody looks up to FDNY and everything with
they don't.
Yeah, everything with 9/11 and that, I've always watched that stuff. So it was to go to New York for the first time and be brought there to go to Kelly Clarkson's show. I was like, that's pretty crazy. And I got to go with Sergeant Burrow, who was on the pedestal, and I got to go with Michael Wren, who was operations, calling the shots on the rope stuff, along with Major Verdi. So it was pretty surreal, and we were actually a little bit into our trip to New York. I don't think we could have planned it any better. So we were a little bit delayed. We were wanting to get to the museum. The museum closed at 5. Well, we flew out at like 1:00. So we got there. We had about an hour to spare. Well, we didn't get off the runway because there was a latch on the door broke. So we sat there for like 2 hours, and we ended up missing our window to be able to go to the museum. So we're like, well, what else can we do? So we look up bars near the 9/11 museum. So we found O'Hara's.
O'Hara's, yeah, of course.
So we go to O'Hara's, and it's like
Never heard of it.
It's like it's meant to be. So we get there, they figure out we're firemen, what we're there for. One of the guys behind the bar throws a shirt, hits me in the face, and falls on the floor. And he's like, good thing you didn't drop that lady like that. And I'm like, I was like, these are some.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, these are some firemen right here. So we had a few beers, I'll say, at O'Hara's, and we actually met up. We met a guy at O'Hara's, Tim Brown, who ended up kind of being like the chauffeur for our trip. Like, he took care of us. And he got us in touch with the captain over at Rescue 1, and we went over there, and it just so happened that we caught them at shift change when Frank Gee was retiring. So let me make sure I got that right. Frank Gee, 32 years, was retiring. So they had the bagpipes there and everything. So we were like, man, what's the chances of this? We're in New York. And so we catch that. And then we met Ray McGuire, Chief McGuire, ended up getting us a reservation for dinner. He was like, take these ladies out and show them the time. So we ended up doing that. And then did Kelly Clarkson. That went good. It was pretty cool. But the trip itself was pretty surreal.
Awesome.
And then the last thing before we left, Tim Brown took us on a private tour to the 9/11 museum. So that was cool. So we got to do it.
But I thought I heard you say that the highlight was the Getting Salty Experience podcast. Somebody was
That's right. That's right. I know my buddy
Clarkson.
Yeah, the guys at the firehouse are hyped for sure. They were like, you get your blue check mark now. I was like, all right.
Hey, Guns. I saw Richie Dumig was talking about, and I was thinking about that too. Was another question I wanted about the aerial
tip load.
Right. So we had a job. I think it was a guy from 108 Truck years ago. He made a grab. He was fully extended with the aerial. Right.
Yes.
100 foot, and made the grab, and the whole thing collapsed. I think that it put him off the job, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So we were at full. We were 100 feet out. At
you were 100 fully out.
We were fully out, fully extended.
And you knew that was going to happen. Like, you guys had planned. Like, this is.
Yes. Yeah. So as I had the victim, they brought me out and around. So they extended out, and then that's whenever they started to reset the haul. Set to a haul, and they were hauling me in at the same time of them bringing the ladder in. So it was a lot of coordination on that part.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, we were actually on an auxiliary apparatus. So yeah.
God, you said 500 to 1,000.
It depending on the truck or the tip load. A couple things that go into play there as far as the angle, the extension of the truck or the stick itself. There's a few things that are going to come into play. Like, some people are saying 500-pound tip load that could be totally retracted. At the right angle, 75-degree angle for your normal climbing ladders. That's the strongest. So now that the angle they were out and they were fully extended, he stretched the limits of that aerial by no means.
But we were we just so happened to be on an auxiliary apparatus, a 2000 Seagrave, and that day it was a 250-pound tip load.
Oof.
So yeah, we were pushing it a little bit.
Now
you were inviting Murphy to show up, bro.
Good thing you made touch with the big guy upstairs with a couple of Hail Marys.
Like I said,
a Hail Marys, a couple of Our Fathers.
So that was the first question that I got from, I don't know, I can't remember the captain's name, but he was Rescue 1, 40 plus years, if I'm not mistaken. And he asked Captain Wren, he said, what was the tip load on that ladder?
Cat Morris. You're talking about Cat Morris?
Yeah, he said, that's the only question that I had. And we told him, and he said, what other options did you have? And at that point, we were like, we didn't. And so he said, then I'm good with it. So that was cool.
Could have left your balls on the turntable. That would have been the only thing you could have done there.
Yeah.
There was really nothing without putting yourself actually rappelling down the aerial or down the ladder truck. And
down
do it that way.
And possibly putting pressure on the truck, and
really
let
no other way. You guys did, that's textbook. I know, not to go back a little bit, but I know some people say don't use the aerial for lifting or lowering or even moving left and right. You can go
right.
You can do either one of them. You can go left and right. It comes down to the manufacturer. Yes, the weight load does come into play, but it comes down to the manufacturers. They don't want to sign off and say, hey, you can lift, because a tip load is a tip load, in my opinion. You got a guy on that's 300 pounds. What you have to be careful of is the hauling when the guys haul, because you have the multiplying forces or multiplying factor that, depending on how that rope's going through the pulley, depending on that angle, that increases the tip load. So if it's the right way.
Who are you?
Hey, hit the squirrel button. Hit the squirrel button.
Wait.
I like
I got a different one. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of factors that come in there.
I can't be the only one to get that tonight.
No, but it's just, listen, you guys did right. I wouldn't be afraid of using the aerial devices for a high point.
Well, thank you, Chief.
They're there. That's what they're used for. We use them all the time for Stokes and or a high point. I've done it many training sessions.
Bryce, you talked to her at all? Have you talked to her since?
Yeah, I have. So she's doing good now. She's actually getting back to work, believe it or not, and she's going to be driving a truck again here soon, which is she's back at it. She's pretty strong-willed. She was like I said, she was a military vet. She's an Army vet, and she's, as she said, I will never drive across that 2nd Street Bridge again, but I will get back to driving, is what she said.
Does she have kids? Does she have a family?
She does. She has a young son. She has a 3-year-old son.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's only 26 years old. She was 26.
What was the height? I was trying to figure it out. What was the height of the bridge to the ground, to the water there?
So where she was at, around 100 feet, but where the cab was, probably about 75 feet. About 75 feet.
Coop, you remember doing that over the tram? Did you do that when we did it over the
rappel
water?
from the tram?
Right. Yeah. When you're dangling
that
over
pucker
the water?
factor when you got to go out.
Got
to carry the lever out.
Once you're off and in their hands, you're like, I trust them. That's all there is to it.
I think the toughest part would have been getting her in the harness. Like that really
no doubt.
Everything else is, like you said, they're controlling everything.
Yeah, thank God she was conscious and able to help
you. It's you making sure that she's in the harness the right way. You do all the checks again, because you don't want her to, you get on there, you get her on, whoops, up to.
Right, she wasn't on a
That's
line.
What I had bruises. My wife, like the next day, my wife was like, she's like, oh my God, because that was the first thing, in a perfect situation when you make the pickoff, that you got your legs wrapped around them, you got them secured, everything. Well, with me, her grabbing me around my neck and holding on to my harness and me pulling her out. I mean, in those pictures, I was completely sideways, and she had a death grip on my arm, on my neck, so I had bruises all over me for like 2 weeks. But yeah, it was all worth it. But in my mind, whenever you get pulled sideways, you're like, oh shit. You start running through like, all right, we're good. Everything, she's hooked up. We're good. She's not going anywhere. But of course you start running everything through your mind. Like, well, if I get this way, am I good? But yeah, it was definitely, it was good. It all worked out.
What did the job do for you guys? They put you in for a medal or?
Yeah. So so we have our awards banquet coming up in February of next year. So it actually just happened this past year. So I would say that we'll probably be going, I would think. So it's been good, but we've had a bunch of, the governor actually made us Kentucky Colonels, which is a pretty prestigious award. And then the mayors reached out a bunch, and there's been a bunch of outpouring of support from Cisco, her company, and also from the community.
The company that she's going to own soon? That one?
Yeah, probably. They did a large donation for our awards banquet, so that was good.
Of course,
So we should have some good drinks that night, I'd say.
Nice.
Was a car that looked like a car swerved into her lane? That's what it was.
It did.
Right?
Yeah, it did. So, so she was just, as you can see, she's driving straight ahead, and there was a car that actually stalled out, electric car, and that lady did an interview also, but she stalls out on the far lane, and the truck swerves around her into oncoming traffic and just took her. She said that her steering was just completely taken out. Like, even though she's turning the wheel, she said she couldn't do anything. Like, he took her front wheel out and she just right off the bridge.
That's
Holy
pulled hard left.
Yeah.
The right time.
26. She's young. Holy mackerel.
So the question is does this count and get you a rescue company of your own now? Dedicated rescue company.
So what I was talking about the firehouse memes. I came in the next day and somebody had wrote up an official looking memo, with that I was going to staff my own rescue company. And all the memes. So it was good. It was good. So
are they working on that now? Putting just
I think they're at some point in time. How long in the future, but hopefully at some point in time they see the benefits of having a designated rescue company, and I hopefully will be assigned to that at some point in time, and no matter how many years, I don't know how long from now.
It takes one good run like that you had to set the tone for the future.
Hopefully.
Are you studying, Bryce, to become an officer?
So I'm a sergeant. So my next step would be a sergeant, and that sergeant's drive. And I was studying a whole bunch, and then I was like, I had just got assigned to truck one, and I was like, I'm gonna pass on till the next test. So I'll have 8 years.
For you, kid.
So I'm gonna ride it out a little bit and get some more experience. So it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely don't rush it. That'd be my advice to you: is soak it all up before you get in that officer's seat.
Or just stay a fireman your whole life. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Chief.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
No, not at all. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Well, I gotta call him Chief now. He impressed me. I was like, "Who is that, Conzo?"
A lot of stuff.
Back from Italy. I don't know who that was.
I thought I heard. I don't know. I might have heard things, but I think I heard it. Friction coefficient.
I couldn't say that again. You son of a bitch.
I think I heard it. I don't know. I'm not saying
friction coefficient came out. The tip to the load to the angle of the. I'm like, whoa, shit.
Oh, he was right. He was on it.
Yeah, that's this far cry from the guy who's pressing you dick. You dick.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Any you guys in the chat have a question for our man here? The man with the big stack.
Your testicles and you from Johnny Dangerously is what we're going on. You remember that? Just a tip, Gons. Someone's just saying, just a tip.
Just a tip.
That's the bathing cap.
Come on, here's your chance. You guys were asking questions before. We were ignoring you. You have any questions now?
Hey, Bryce, you know what? When you guys were all done and you did like an after action, what did you guys think you could have done better?
So that any run, you talk about things that could go smoother. So just being, quicker and making decisions faster, and I feel like, 40 minutes from the time the call came in, 40 minutes, we had her out of the cabin on the bridge. So I would think any, obviously you can always improve. So I would say, maybe next time it will be 30 minutes or 25 minutes. But, like I said, it was such a whirlwind after that we've talked about it, but on the bridge that day, it was all blur for me. It was all blur going back now. So I know we had a debrief and we talked about what could have been better, but it really was a blur. So
here's one from Mike coming in. MC, how does a rescue like this compare to the best box you've ever been to?
Box.
So
the box dropped.
I hit something.
Oh, there was a.
Come on, MC.
The bet. All right, I see it now.
Yeah.
So they, I don't know. It's different in ways. Of course, you're going to be amped up when you make a rescue like this. But as you guys know, when you make a hell of a fire, just the feeling that you have in your body, it's you're amped up, but also you're killed. You're whooped. So it's whenever I got done with the rope rescue, I was like, all right, let's go work out. I was not drained or tired or anything like that. But one fire comes to mind. We had a fire on a large warehouse that used to be a casket company. And it was actually the hottest day of the year. It was a heat index of like 116. We went through 5 bottles each. We were so depleted. The chief of the fire department was changing bottles out on us, and we're all laid out trying to go back in. At one point in time, I found myself on the roof cutting a hole with 2 captains. We were whooped. It was probably about a 50,000 square foot building. So heavy fire coming from and we made entry on it and thought we were getting a knock on it. But until we got ran out of the building, and then we had some exposures going. Yeah, had some exposures going. But at one point in time,
had some exposures going there.
Yeah, had some exposures going. At one point in time, I found myself cramping up where I couldn't even walk. So after the fire, so it was we earned it that day. But yeah,
Hey,
I would
Rookie,
say,
what do you notice about Bryce?
What's that?
What do you notice
Smile
about
like a mother-
every time he talks about fire? He gets glowing here. You know, you're
Yeah.
right. You make
Not the
Yeah.
rope rescue, not the once in a lifetime
Lonzo,
probably
hit
kind
the
of thing.
tail. Hit
Yeah,
the,
here's
hit the
another one
spot.
for you. Oh, not that one. Where's the other one? Stand by. This one.
Which one do you want?
Hold on, I gotta get the.
Uh-oh.
What's he getting? P cup?
No, I don't know. Is he
Somebody's
talking
at the
about
door?
I don't know.
So it's retired now, but here I gotta represent for the Deuce.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I had to throw it out there for the Deuce.
The Deuce.
No.
Is this what you were talking about? This question right here? Is this what you're looking at?
Department ever have him speak to the recruit class about this?
Not yet. So the recruit class just started about 2 weeks ago. So I would say, and now we actually just switched to now recruits get rope tech in drill school. So we're going to be going down there in I'd say about a month or so. And Captain Wren and Captain Hogan have already talked to us about that we're going to be split up into groups and we're going to be teaching certain portions of the ropes to them. So that'll be good. So it'll be an opportunity to kind of talk to the guys and and they were like, Carden's going to be teaching pickoffs. So that'll be my time to get on them a little bit.
Gabe Fox wants to know about the tweak the stick at all. Do you happen to get any report back from the garage as far as the damage to the rig?
So our shop does a hell of a job. They keep us rolling for sure, and we always keep them busy. Firemen know how to break stuff. But it went out of service immediately after the run, and they did a thorough check on it, and it was thrown back in the loop like a day or two later. And it didn't affect the ladder. And Sergeant Burrow said that none of the alarms were going off. So that was good. For overloaded and tip, when you jump and you hold it on it when you're doing checks and stuff like that. It didn't do any of that. So
I mean, overload. Broke Kachini's question first.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, I got you. Did
he get lucky when he got home?
Oh yeah. So I had 2 Chick-fil-A burritos waiting, and my beautiful wife waiting for me to. And I actually, of course, the next day I had set up to work a half-day trade. So I didn't even come home the next morning. I was there till like 1 o'clock.
This must be a guy you know this guy right here. You know Mickey Murphy. Murphy. I was gonna say he's definitely got to be one of you guys.
Yeah, I like it. My wife would be blushing so hard right now.
PJ, while we're talking about it, PJ wants to know if you ever responded to your wife's text messages.
Oh, so I ended up. It was about 3 hours later, but I grabbed my buddy's phone on the bridge. I was like, "Hey, I'm safe. Obviously you've seen it, and I'm all juiced up, And I was like, it was pretty cool. I was like, we'll talk about it later. So I
was going to say, do you make her sit in the back seat now?
Yeah, that's great.
Shotgun.
Yeah, take the trash out. That's exactly how it was. She's like,
yeah, that's great. Now go take the trash out.
Yeah,
I seen somebody's question pop up about equipment being ordered, and that was.
I thought you about this one. I was going to bring that.
We actually just got 6,000 feet of rope and a bunch of clutches. 11. We went to 11 millimeter.
11 mil
and a bunch of clutches. So we're just now getting ready to implement that. So I'm excited about that.
It's the clutch, a Gibbs.
The CMC clutch. It's like
the improved MPD.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
So much easier to use. And the 11 mil rope is the latest and greatest rope rescue stuff. It's smaller diameter rope, obviously, and it's a little lighter. You can pack more in a bag.
Wow! Again,
getting excited.
Who is this guy? I don't know. Comes back from Italy, and he's like Mr. Wizard over here. I don't know who he is.
He's like everybody coming back. He's ready to go. Once you get up back from vacation.
No, I forgot. He is the chief of department over there.
I do training. I kind of, it's my wheelhouse, rope rescue. And in case you didn't know, I am on the task force down here, so you have to be up to speed on all your skills.
Clutches are replacing MPDs. Rob
That's one of the guys were asking earlier. He was quickly recapping your the rope setup. You said you did a mirrored system to MPDs to I think what he was saying here.
High point change of direction.
And it looks like you change of direction with your looks like 8 plates, etc. Yes. This is what it was. So just want to make sure he was
And that's also a critique that, like just breaking it down, like Bryn was talking about, we could actually bring those ropes together on a double pulley rather than having the 8. We didn't need the 8 plates, that was just something that they threw in there. But it's a critique that we could have.
Yeah, all those little things are.
What about the 9 with the 14 slide?
Don't add to that, Frank. He's like, what the hell is that?
That's somebody else.
You dick, PJ. This is for PJ.
You dick.
That's pretty good.
That's
rope rescue. Yeah.
Oh man. But anyway, yeah, that was.
So is it that time, Coops?
Oh wait.
With something different though.
But
is it going to be like I said before? This is what we say. You can learn from a young guy. It doesn't have to be a guy with 30 years or 40 years retired.
I mean, a young guy who smiles all the time when he talks about fire.
When he talks about fire, you can definitely learn from a guy like that. You can just take his spirit away. So instead of the old school tip of the day, Roof, we're going to do ready guns.
Yeah, I'm ready. What music do you want to play? You want me to do the?
No.
Oh, you want to go with our original? We can go with our original.
Yeah, let's go with the original.
It's time for the young school tip.
The young
day
of the day.
All right, Mr. Bryce. Yeah, let me. Let's bring you in for a close.
Let's bring you in close to see the smile. There he is.
There it is.
Well, I've been contemplating all day with this, but to stay on track of what we've been talking about, always keep a sharp knife on you, because that would have changed the whole rescue. So
wow,
sharp knife on you and be a sponge. Love the job. Love the job.
The sharp knife. You're right. You know how important that was if you had changed your pants.
That was like something that we used to talk about. Like whenever you on rope, you
want to get rid of your knife. You never want to carry a knife.
You never want to have
never want to carry a knife.
But
knife
yeah, I mean something that if you had there's no way you would have been able to get that out of there. Probably.
What was your plan B, Bryce?
I didn't
trauma shears. You could do a trauma shears, right?
Maybe, but like we talked about, I'm 25, 30 feet down. They were like, we're just gonna start tossing you knives until you catch one, or lower you one down with a rope, something.
Yeah,
but
what you would
whenever they're panning out and watching this live, and I'm sitting there like looking up, asking for a knife, it wouldn't have been a good look. Wouldn't have been a good look.
Like to think, trying again when you're setting all this shit up now, sitting here with a little scotch, it seems like how the hell could you not bring some shears with you down there? You know what I mean? But it's just all these things you could think about, and that's what the after action is for, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Come up with
you could be responsible and carry a knife, but that's a great example or a situation when you needed it. What would you have done if you didn't? Let's talk about it. What would you have done if you needed to cut that seatbelt? Hope she would have been able to unclip it.
That was never gone, right?
The way that she was laying, face forward with her weight, her arms up here, her seatbelt's across here, underneath her back. She was not getting out of that.
I was going to ask that earlier. What was the total weight that between the two of you? I know you're like 105 pounds like me. She was probably.
I'm about 185. 185.
You got to bring up the guns.
I'd say
all right, MC, take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy.
I'm not like Cougs, but I'm getting there. But no, she was a little bit heavier than me, so we were testing the limits. Yeah, testing the limits for sure.
Not the rope system at all. If anything, the weakest part of that was the tip load, my friend.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
it was the aerial device.
You said tip and load.
And same sentence.
Good for you. You know what about this guy, bro? He just oozes the fire service.
That's all we need. We need. You feel like the fire service is in good hands when you got young bucks like this coming up.
Oh man, I can rest easy my head on the pillow at night.
Let this guy be an influence to all of our young guys that are watching. Inspired to be a guy like
all
this.
you young fellows watching, even Mike was trying to get on the job. Look at this guy. Does this guy look like he hates his job? No.
Not at
all. I just got off I had 48 shift, and then I'm going in again in the morning for my normal shift. So we're back.
A little T, are you? A little overtime or something?
I had a trade yesterday. A little six runs after midnight get me right for coming home today.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on, Bryce, and sharing your story. I'm glad we ran into you.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was awesome. Yes, sir.
Now the most important thing is you tell all these young guys, hey, you got to watch the podcast. Bro, you want to learn something? See me on there?
See me on there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Somehow I don't think he's going to say that.
No,
he might say watch the podcast, but he ain't going to say see me on there.
Yeah. Cheers.
Best job I ever had.
I got a little water.
Excellent. All right. I do have one shout out. It's an unfortunate shout out. I'm sorry. My uncle Richie Caster passed away.
Sorry about that, bro.
2 nights ago. He was 43 years on the FDNY. Was in Brooklyn early on. Who was in the Tin House originally?
Was it
232 and 176?
232 second section he was in. So he saw some fire back in the day. 43 years. May he rest in peace. He was a good man. My dad's buddy. So hopefully him and Pop are up there swinging back to Heineken's. You know what I'm saying, Ruffy?
You know they are.
Yeah.
Cheers
to know it. And that's it. We'll see you guys. Oh, we got to play one more. We got to play the other commercial. Oh, no, we did both. What am I saying?
We did both. We good.
I was late to the party. I forgot. Pulled me all up. All right, so we'll see you guys on Thursday night, in which we don't have a guest yet, but we will. I'm sure we will. We'll find somebody. And welcome back, Gonzo, from the Italia.
Hey, Bryce, be careful down there, huh?
Go back to the church.
Stay safe, and make sure the old lady's all over you tonight. You know what I mean? You're a big star.
That's right.
You're a big hero.
Yeah. You're a big star now.
Now that you've been on the show, forget about Good Morning America. Good Morning America. Been on the Gettin Salty Experience.
That's right. Yes,
Excellent.
sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. We will see you Thursday night. Until then, stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one. Thanks again, Bryce.
All right, guys. We'll see you at the top floor. And don't forget to not be afraid to let go of the railing. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to push away. It's all good. You're gonna wind up like this guy.
All right, guys. Tip load.
Watch your tip load.
Tip load.
Good night, guys.